Well, welcome back to this Business Spotlight interview series. Today, I'd like to introduce Bianca Cottle from BYO Containers. So welcome, Bianca.
Hi, Phil.
So I guess if we can just get started by you giving us a bit of an overview and an outline of what BYO Containers is and what it does.
Yeah, so BYO Containers is effectively a grassroots campaign, an environmental campaign, and we host a website with an online map which lists all kinds of businesses who allow customers and encourage customers to shop using their containers so that they can reduce their plastic and single-use waste and shop more environmentally friendly. So we on our website, we offer resources and we have our map, which helps support businesses. They can list themselves there, get access to more customers, loyal customers. And then consumers, they can jump on the website as well, get some tips for how to shop with their containers, as well as see which places near them and also sign up their favourite local stores.
Okay, fantastic. And so what sort of geographic area then does it cover?
Yeah, so we now are covering Australia-wide. So we have almost, I think it's about 1,800 businesses across Australia. We started out, we're based in Victoria, but we also have quite a large number across New South Wales and Tasmania, and we're growing. Expanding out more to WA and Queensland and other places as well. So we took it to Australia-wide last year, which is very exciting.
Yeah, well, look, it's certainly a great initiative. Tell us how you actually got into this.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a personal story for me. I was previously working in the pharmaceutical industry for a large pharma, running a commercial finance team across Asia Pacific, doing large budgets and effectively using my time to save big pharma a lot of money.
Yep.
And I had a acute illness. I was quite sick for a while, didn't know what was going to happen. And during that time, I sort of questioned what legacy I wanted, what path I wanted to take with my life, where did I want to apply my skills and time? Was it working for big pharma, saving them money, working lots of hours, or could I be doing something better and more meaningful with my life? And actually, on one of my trips to the pathology lab, I walked past the hospital and I saw this recycled plastic tree guard. And I had a look and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It's, you know, plastic that would have gone in the waste is now getting another use. And I followed that. I'm like, well, I really would like to get into sustainability and help the environment. It's sort of the biggest issue we've got going. And I have a young daughter. And what can I do for the next generation? So I went along and actually looked up the company. They were based not far from me. I walked in and I said, you know, what can I do to help a business like you grow? And I started running environmental tours there for them.
Right.
And educating councils, educating schools and local community groups all about the issues related to plastic pollution. So that was back in 2017.
Right, yep.
And then from there, it just snowballed. I just got, I'm kind of the sort of person who will take a deep dive. I love science. I'm science trained. So that's my background. And I was a teacher as well. And so I really took this deep dive into understanding, you know, the environmental problems we have, especially around plastics, and the fact that recycling is never going to be the answer. Less than 10% of plastic gets recycled worldwide. It's just not a viable model. The supply and demand economics don't work out. So what could I do to actually turn off the tap as an individual? And then my husband and I, we built a eco prototype house. We educated people coming through, see how you could build more sustainable houses, but we also did a lot in the home to reduce our own personal waste. And from there, I sort of thought, well, I've managed to cut my waste personally down to like this really small amount.
Yes.
Once a fortnight, not much at all. Imagine if that got magnified on a larger scale. So I could invest more time to try and reduce it even further, but really I'm not going to get much return on that. So why don't I see how I can help others achieve what I've achieved? And one of those was I take my containers shopping. I do that at my local butchers when I get takeaway, or whenever I'm buying, other sort of grocery items, my fresh produce. So I thought, how hard could it be? How can I help people do this? And one thing that for me, I'm quite an anxious person sometimes, so I found it difficult sometimes having that initial conversation with a business. And in my Facebook group for Zero Waste, where I'd done a lot of my research, a lot of people were having that same issue. They were sort of, I don't know where I can go. Am I allowed to? What if they say no? So I thought, what if I could solve that problem for them and give them a map of places where they could feel comfortable going, where the businesses knew how to put food in the container safely. They don't have to worry about the safety issues. So that's where BYO Containers was born. We set up a website, myself and a couple of volunteers, and then I linked in with another organisation called Trashless Takeaway, who had actually created a map for very much the same kind of thing, but all about takeaway stores.
Right.
Let's not reinvent the wheel. So I just sent them an email and thought, hey, hi, I'm Bianca, this is who I am. I want to do BYO Containers. I want to do a map as well. What you've done is great. Could we work together? And we started collaborating and shared a map and grew it. I read all the food safety standards and put all the food safety information up there for businesses so they could have a nice condensed copy, a bullet point list of what they needed to do. And made it really easy. And we grew this map, and now we've actually combined together. We work together now as one organisation. So, and we've taken it, the campaign national last year, BYO Containers, and had a rebrand on our website. And from there we've grown. We've got, I think it's about 1,800 businesses listed across Australia who are taking customers' containers and know how to do that, and we're continuing to grow and push that message.
Yes.
That's how BYO Containers in effect was born.
Wow, fantastic. And I'm a dairy technologist by education, and worked in the food industry for more than 30 years. So the food safety side of things, and I was working at big corporates. They're probably responsible and contributing to the plastic problem. One of the things that just strikes me, you mentioned food safety with the smaller food businesses. Were there any issues that you had to overcome in terms of local council bylaws that relate to food safety with those smaller businesses? Was that an issue at all that you had to overcome, Bianca?
It's one that we're still looking at today, Phil. So as you might know, the laws are different for the different kinds of businesses you have. Small businesses fall under their councils, and then you've got large meat businesses under a different regulator, and then you've got supermarkets who self-regulate, and then dairy, like delis, they fall under Dairy Safe. So different regulators, but they all wrap up under the legislation, the Food Safety Act. And within that legislation, it actually doesn't prohibit, it's quite grey. It doesn't expressly prohibit people selling food into their own containers. It's up to the businesses and the regulators to manage that risk.
Yes.
And so for a business, if they have protocols in place that are approved by their auditor as to how they manage that risk, it's absolutely legal. There shouldn't be any litigation risks.
Yep.
However, that is a challenge for some small businesses to achieve, actually having the protocols written into a plan, and an amendment to their food safety handling. Some councils also are more supportive than others. So there's definitely councils out there who actually have gone out and done this kind of work and supported business and said, hey, we support this.
Yep.
Whereas some other councils have said, oh, we don't want to touch it. It's a bit too much. We don't really know about this. So we'll just say, no, we don't support it.
Yep.
And then it's up to a business what risk they want to take personally. So that's why actually this year we are looking at advocating through political channels to get a law change.
Okay.
Make a really common sense amendment to the Civil Liability Acts across the various states and territories that say what you think would be common sense. If you bring a container in as a customer, you are responsible that is clean and sanitary. Yep. And as a business, you are responsible for selling safe food. And that will guide any, remove any litigation risks for business. They actually have an amendment came out in South Australia last year. So we're trying to replicate that across Australia now.
Well, fantastic and well done. And, I really wish you well on that, I guess, that track in your journey on, that branch that you're heading down there. So fantastic. Bianca, what's, obviously your journey is quite intriguing. What's been the biggest thing that you've actually learned about yourself on this journey?
Yeah, I think for me, when I started, it was just a Facebook comment. Someone was like, hey, wouldn't it be cool if there was a map that told you where you could go? And it was the act of saying, well, yeah, that doesn't sound that hard. I mean, I don't know, I'd never put a website together before, but I just sort of put my hand up and I actually made a public commitment to do something.
Yep.
Just to get the ball rolling. Like I said, yeah, I'll look at that. I reckon I can take a look at that. And that one act of publicly, I guess, putting myself out there that I'm gonna take the responsibility to at least look at doing this. It inspired a lot of other people to come on the journey with me. So I didn't do this alone. I had volunteers who helped me together ideas and do some research and then go out to festivals and spread the message. And it's amazing once you make that decision to just do the small thing. And for me, that was saying, yeah, I'm going to look at this and I'm going to do some research.
Yes.
And then I found Trashless Takeaway, who already had a map. And then it just snowballed from there. So if you make a commitment to just do one small thing about something that's really important to you, your passion will take you through, but it will also inspire a lot of other people to come with you.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. What were some of the biggest issues that you've actually had to overcome, particularly back in the earlier days?
Yeah, I think it was in the early days, I honestly didn't know what to expect or what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think it's just like putting myself out there and then, okay, well, what's the next thing I should research? Okay, well, let's do a website. Do I follow a template? How do I set this up? And it's just that keeping motivated. So keep asking, like, what's the next question? What's the next hurdle? Like, what's the next thing that I can do? And yeah, I just think keeping going. I definitely had some lulls through COVID lockdowns, for example, was a very tough time, and I had to actually pare things back for a while, and things did quieten down. Not a lot of businesses would sign on during COVID lockdown. But, we kept a core group, a few of us who were still motivated to do things and planned our relaunch after the lockdowns eased. So, I think it's keeping that motivation and passion, and knowing when it's okay, I'll take a little break, but I'm going to plan to come back. Yes.
So how did you keep yourself motivated, particularly through that COVID period where, there was a lot of uncertainty about, what's happening next?
Yeah, I think the number one thing really was just giving myself that permission to take a break for a short time.
Yep.
And be kind to myself, and actually committing to that. So saying, I'm making a decision to take a break. That means I can have some time off to look at other things that were going on in my life at the time.
Yep.
But that decision meant that I also decided that I was going to open that door again, and I had plans there, so I didn't feel any guilt.
Yes, yeah. So you gave yourself permission to put things on hold whilst, I guess the rest of the world sorted it out or sorted itself out in terms of COVID, but then also, for your own personal requirements as well. And I think that's something that's outstanding, Bianca. Well done and congratulations for giving yourself that permission. One of the things that I find with business owners is that quite often they won't give themselves permission to actually do the types of things that you've just been talking about. And sometimes that's what it takes in order to get to the next step, to get to the next level. So, well done.
Yeah, it was really great actually during that time while I needed a break. One of my other team members, Erin, who helps manage the operations, she was really inspired. So actually she was busy making plans, and I didn't pull back her trajectory. I let her go because she was motivated and ready to go and put these plans in action. And so when I came back to things together, we were really able to make a big punch then.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that there was a number of other volunteers that were helping with this project. How much inspiration were you getting from each other, and what sort of things did that then lead to in terms of the direction that you were taking this project?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, certainly it was really inspiring for me. So that I was linked in with Zero Waste Victoria, who's another organisation, and that's actually was their Facebook group where this all kicked off, mind you.
Yeah.
So I kept aligned with them, and I actually sat on their management committee for a couple of years as well. And they invited me to have the very first BYO Containers festival stall at their Zero Waste Festival.
Right.
And I just put a call out for volunteers, like, who wants to come do this stand with me, and let's talk about this website we've made, and let's see if we can get some excitement and other people signing up businesses. And what surprised me was that I actually drew more volunteers to come for my stand than volunteers who came for the festival to help the festival team, which was not something I expected at all. I think I had like 8 or 9 people, and I actually could roster people on. It was fantastic.
Yep.
And seeing how much people were wanting to talk about this, it just, people want to talk about this. They want to find easy ways that they can reduce their waste without making too much changes to their lifestyle. And they can see it's very visual. You can see that your bin is emptier. So there's a lot of people who sort of inspired me, and I do put call outs every now and then for people who want to come to a council festival and come and talk about this with just people who want to buy. And I usually always get, a few people come on board. It's always really satisfying, really peps you up when you sort of talk to people who newly engaged with it and hadn't heard, and they're like, oh, it's such a great idea. Like, I want to, talk about it too.
Actually, you just led me into my next question is, so for businesses that are really interested in, I guess, making an impact on the environment, how do they get involved? How do they find out about this? How do they find out about BYO Containers? How can they get involved?
Yeah, so you can just jump on the website, the sign up process to put your business on the map, have your pin on the map. It takes less than 5 minutes. You just put in your, just pulls it all through Google. What's your business name? Puts all the details in. Just put your name, and then within a few days, we'll check the entry, and it'll appear on the map, and then you can publicize that. We also have free poster and fact sheets that are downloadable, and we also send out stickers to go on the counter or on the door to let everyone know that you are loudly and proudly encouraging people to shop with their containers and reduce waste. So BYO Containers here. And then there's more information on the website. So yeah, the easiest thing to do is just sign up, put your business there, print out a poster if you've got space in the window for it, put it up there, and then we'll send you also a sticker.
Fantastic. And then, so I guess looking at it from the other angle, from a customer's perspective, how do they actually find which businesses are part of this program?
Yeah, so same again, just jump on the website. So it's byocontainers.org. And then on the landing page, we have the map right there. You can just go and search your area by postcode or by suburb, or you can go through the categories and actually specify if you want takeaway, certain type of takeaway. You might say you want to have Japanese food, or it's even search. Now we have a few beauty products and pet supplies and even alcohol refills on there as well now.
Oh, wow. Okay, excellent. In terms then of what the future looks like for this industry and I guess for the business as well, what do you think the future holds?
Yeah, so for us, we're certainly really chasing that legislation change. Yep. I identified that as being, I guess, the lowest hanging fruit, where we could do a small amount of work to get the largest impact. And so we're focused on meeting with the Greens. We've got a meeting booked in with the Victorian Greens to try and get that same legislation that we have already in South Australia. It was introduced by the Greens there, the BYO Container Bill.
Yep.
We want to roll that out in Victoria and then roll it out progressively in other states and territories. And at the same time, continue to grow the number of listings on our BYO Containers map.
Yes.
My end game, and my team will laugh when they hear this. I say this is my goal is to make our website irrelevant. My goal would be at the end of the day that every store, this is just an accepted option, that if people bring a container, they can get it filled and they don't need to take a plastic bag or a box or whatever it is. It just becomes the norm. So I would love for, somewhere like Google to even start listing this as a filter where you can search for businesses online across the globe as well.
And look, it's a really, really fantastic initiative that you've undertaken here, Bianca. Just in sort of finishing up now, is what words of wisdom could you give anybody that's got an idea, whether a business or something that's going to help the environment? What words of wisdom could you share with them as part of their journey or the start of their journey?
Yeah, I think it's about finding that thing that you are passionate about and then pairing it with just one small action. Yep. So I was passionate to reduce plastic waste. And I made one small action was just a commitment in a Facebook chat that I'm going to look at if we could get a map. Is there a map? And it's that starting action. You don't have to commit to even doing the thing, just say, oh, I'm going to look into it. Once you start something and your passion is there, you will find that, a whole bunch of doors can open up. And I would never have foreseen this turning into an organization, or that I'd be sitting here today talking to you about this. It's brought so much into my life. And I honestly, it's probably the thing that I'm most proud of that I've achieved. to be saying that I'm making this difference, you know, and other people are looking to me as well for inspiration, all just with a passion and one small action.
Yep. And look, that's all it takes is one small idea. And then, you know, I guess it's a little bit like a flower, isn't it? Is allowing it to grow and then bud and
yeah. And then other flowers and plants come along into the garden, and there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Bianca, and I'm really looking forward to following you on your journey and through LinkedIn and any other avenues that that you're involved with. So, congratulations, well done, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Phil. It's been lovely to talk to you.